Hi, folks, and welcome to the actually post-Evo episode of the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. We actually watched it all the way through now. Isn't that crazy? It actually ended. It's me, John. I'm hosting. With me this week, once again, is Maverick. Maverick, how are you doing?
Hey, doing pretty alright. Pretty chill
Good,
Saturday.
glad to hear. Yeah, nice chill day. I gotta go into work a little later, but you know, that's how it goes. I closed last night. It was pretty hectic. You know how it
Did you
goes.
make it on did you make it on any other live streams?
Not this time, I don't think. Yeah, last week I sure was on a Twitch stream. I don't remember the streamer's name because I don't keep up with these people, but yeah, like there's actually quite a few like big streamers who live in Austin, and they do come and visit our arcade here and there. Really weird. Yeah, I have been in the same room as Critical before. He is very short. That was the one thing that I took away from that. He is a very short man. I am not tall in any way. You know, I am like exactly average height, if I remember correctly. Yeah, dude's kind of tiny. And yeah, he does sound like that in real life, though. He's not putting on a voice. I don't know. I don't care for these celebrity types, you know. I mostly think it's funny. You know, I mostly think it's funny. Cuz like for example, probably one of the funniest things that happened that night. Again, it was a guy and a girl. Again, I don't know their usernames or whatever. But at one point
free publicity. No free publicity.
Yeah, no free publicity. I genuinely don't remember, but also no free publicity. If you want us to shout us out, if you want us to shout you out, you got to shout us out. But it was very funny when the girl came up and got some drinks, like some waters and like a Powerade or something, and she very hurriedly like realized and then had to like bite the fucking wrapper off the Powerade to get the the logo off of it. Because, you know, she doesn't have, like, a fucking deal with Powerade. She probably has something competing. So that was very funny, just watching.
Powerade and Advanced GG just really at heads with one another, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. But it was just very funny seeing this, like, you know, this very, like, manufactured-looking person. Like, oh, I have this, like, this specific outfit, and, like, I'm all made up, and I'm ready to be on camera. Like tearing at a Powerade bottle so that way they don't get in trouble with their fucking sponsorship. It was very funny.
See, I feel like I would just have like tape or like a Sharpie on me. You know what I mean?
That would be smart, I suppose. But also, yeah, if you're just going out randomly, you're not thinking about that. But also, if you're made up to go stream while you're there, I guess you should be thinking about that. I don't know. I don't do these things. I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Don't ask me. But yeah, it was dumb. The Twitch chat made fun of me for still wearing a mask, even though hey, guess what? A couple of dudes at my work got COVID, and I still haven't. So you know, not to be like. I am not trying to be superior to anyone except for the people in that chat right there, because fuck you, okay? Just shut up. Anyway. Yeah. Working at the arcade. It's always a good time.
Yeah. I don't think yeah, and I feel like you don't have to worry because when I try to I remember you linked part of the video to click in for like where you came up. Mm-hmm. And I clicked on, like, I think it was, like, the profile page specifically or something. And it led to a person that guy was, like, hosting. And just a great, like, 10-second snippet of, like, some WoW raid going on. Guys going up to, like, take care of something. And then just turns to the chat and is like, hey, I don't really appreciate that gay shit in chat that I'm hearing. And I'm like, oh, cool.
All right.
You just know when it's like, oh, there is something I can just give up learning more about. I do not need to know more about this because I've taken everything I need in just such a short amount of time. That was one of those moments of just like, cool, awesome.
Had enough of this person. I've had enough of this. Goodbye. For sure. But yeah, we're post Evo, where there were more bigger announcements since then. There was another good amount of news. A lot of stuff happened the last couple of days. It's been a hectic season, as it were. We could go into a couple of things here. How about we go over the Evo updates then first? Because again, there's a couple of cool things that happened.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So, first off, we got some rollback updates. We got a couple more games confirmed to have rollback. And that is Samurai Showdown, the 2019-2020 game? I think it was 2019. The 2019 one. Which, that does seem kind of late. It seems kind of late, but also not unwelcome. There is a community for that game. And Dragon Ball FighterZ, which they did confirm that Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series. And those versions are getting rolled back. I guess the PS4 and Xbox One versions aren't, and neither is the Switch version, of course, but that kind of goes without saying at this point. And then the PC is getting it as well. But also, luckily, there will be smart delivery and all that stuff. So if you do have a PS5 or an Xbox Series, you could just stick your disc in or use your digital copy, and it'll upgrade. So you don't have to worry about that per se. I mean, I guess it's kind of a bummer that they're not just throwing it on the PS4 and Xbox One versions, but I don't know. I don't know game development. But they did say after this will be the last update for Dragon Ball FighterZ. They said no more updates to the characters, no more new characters. They are done with Dragon Ball FighterZ once they add rollback. Which I think is a good way to leave it, I don't know too much about the balancing of the game. I know Android 21 lab coat was broken, but I think they nerfed her to make it more reasonable. So, Dragon Ball FighterZ it seems like they're leaving it at a good spot.
Yeah, Goku's got to go to Fortnite now, so.
That's right. I guess we will briefly mention that Dragon Ball FighterZ are getting added to Fortnite, which is very funny. I guess there were some leaks that it's going to be Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and either Bulma or Android 20 or not 21, Android 18. Which I'm sure those are good picks for what you're doing.
And still we ignore the woman who literally had a gun for the duration of Dragon Ball. Exactly. Where is Launch? They should just put Launch in. Launch found dead in Miami at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
For fucking real. The disrespect. But who knows? Maybe they'll add her in the future. These kinds of things are in perpetuity, if you will. They will keep adding more characters, perhaps. But also at the same time, who knows? Maybe this is just a one and done thing. Because Fortnite is weird like that. You can never really tell.
Goku hit the griddy for the Dragon Balls.
He will hit the griddy for all of us. Juri and Kimberly are the new characters coming in Street Fighter 6. So Juri is, of course, an old character. She premiered in 4. Everyone loves how crazy, sexy, and footsy she is. She sure does just use her foot to she uses her feet a lot. I should just say it's the foot freaks out there are having a fucking ball with this reveal. And I mean, God bless them, God bless him.
It is pretty funny having to see the occasional, all right, I need the Jury trailer. No, I'm not a feet guy. I just like Jury. Come on.
I don't. I do not mean this in a derogatory sense. I feel like if you're into Jury and you're not a foot person, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know what you're doing, kind of. Like,
I mean, I get it. Like, sometimes you do just like a horrible woman.
I guess so.
So
but also,
there is a broader net there, but also, there's the very apparent stuff as well.
You're not min-maxing here, is what I'm saying. You're not using the whole buffalo here. You're just kind of like picking and choosing and leaving too much to be desired. I'd say, like, Jury is here for the foot freaks, and the foot freaks need to appreciate it. And they are.
They definitely are.
They are.
DreamWorks is making their new shading tech open source, so best believe Jury content out there in places of the internet I try not to go around. It's the near church, but for full on just people cast away from the eye of God.
Mm-hmm. And hey, guess what? New Garou game confirmed / Fatal Fury. I guess they're not like fully confirmed which series this will be. I mean, Garou is still in Fatal Fury series, kind of. It's just like a future thing. But hey, they're making a new Garou game, which, if it doesn't have the top system, I'm gonna lose my mind, because that's what made Garou so cool. For those of you who do not know, Garou, its neatest gimmick is it has a system where it splits your health bar up into 3 chunks, and before you start the match, you pick which chunk you want to assign the top system to. And when you hit that amount of health, you get a slight power boost, and I think you get to use different moves. It's been a hot minute since I've played Garou. But, yeah, it opens up your character slightly, so you can be like, oh, I can start the match with some extra power, or near the end I'll have some extra, or I'll get a big push in the middle. You get to choose. And Garou fucking rules. Garou is one of my favorite fighting games ever, and I'm very excited to see a new one of those. As soon as they confirm the top system, I will scream and yell and just love it so much.
I get that you might be a little bit worried that this might not make a comeback, and I get it, because, oh boy, are we filled with so many systems and inclusions where, no longer do we have the time of the ism scenario from old, like, Capcom versus SNK. It's hard to really just make sure that a new game of an old beloved series is, consistent with all of its parts. And I think we can really make a committed effort to make sure that John Machonsky gets the top system back into Garou. So if you join me right now with the hashtag John Needs Top, we can make this happen.
We can make this happen. We can.
Use the hashtag John Needs Top.
John Needs Top. I need it. I saw where it was going. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I feel like I did a good.
You did a good job.
Good veering.
Yeah. You did it. And finally, the big news. The news that is pretty much swept the nation, as it were. The overall the big story this Evo. Hey, Guilty Gear brought Bridget back. I had to say that. I had to say that deliberately because that's a tongue twister. Guilty Gear brought Bridget back, and in Bridget's arcade story mode thing, Bridget comes out as a girl. So, after all of these years, kind of sort of like Testament, the character that was, the butt of a lot of jokes, the a lot of folks taking their existence sometimes in a positive light. There were a lot of people who were actually inspired to be like, hey, you know what? Like, it's nice to have a girlish boy representation. But at the end of the day, Bridget in this game is officially a girl. And hey, this is like a very high profile trans character, and their identity is, it's celebrated in the game even, like the characters are very immediately, using their correct pronouns, and fucking Gold Lewis Dickinson is like helping Bridget figure herself out. And it's been very nice, like seeing a lot of like celebration of Bridget coming out, but also it's just been really fun like seeing a bunch of like memes about Gold Lewis just being like, we don't take kindly to misgendering around here, partner. Like there's just been some good images online lately, I will say.
I've seen the mod that makes Gold Lewis have the I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad who stepped up shirt. And that's really good. And
it is good.
Yeah, no, like this rocks. I think ultimately you look at the entire roster, Bridget is definitely the character who a lot of people like and genuinely do have fun with, not just because of her, look, her appeal. She's also just a really good zoner. Like, I was checking out the actual breakdown of her moves, and it's like, oh, this is stupid shit. And I would love to learn this character once I eventually get Strive, just because she does the stupidest stunts with her yo-yo. When I had Accent Core Plus on the PS2, I definitely remember, in my brain dead button mashing latency with the game, that it was fun to hit the yo-yo around. So glad to see her back. There's only so much that two cishet guys can say about this kind of an announcement that isn't just like I don't feel like there's any nuance I can bring into it outside of just like, if there's anyone that feels genuinely upset about this, I feel like it's guys that are already like not guys that I already wouldn't trust with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
And like that's the extent of my care into any sort of like genuine discourse, outside of the consideration of, hey, it would have been cool to bring in a trans voice actress to really bring this to bring the character fully together. I think that's more so a consideration of just the way voice acting studios go about getting their talent. So, and especially because of the fact that I believe it is again, like the nuances of voice acting are more apparent there, I would say. But now, that aside, I think it's cool. And there's also a bit where she's talking with Kai Kisk, where it's this idea that like, it's okay, I was in love with Gears. And it's like, I get it's an understanding where they go with that, since like in lore that's definitely a big taboo, in a way that like Kai more or less grows, not just as like a character but just as an actual figure in the series. It's just very funny, being like, yeah, I got my wife, so I know that might be rough having to go through challenges, but no, this is cool. I'm excited to see if we will, like, if Bridget gets into top 8 next year. I think that'll be cool. It also would have sucked to have, because that announcement came before the finals. And, like, it would have sucked to see Leffen win all that. Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie. Thank goodness.
Shout out Umi Show. Fucking, they held it down. Happy Chaos is stupid as fuck, but goddamn if it's not a fun character to look at.
Yeah. And I mean, DLC characters are usually pretty good. So I don't know enough about Guilty Gear to say with certainty that Bridget's gonna just like be really good in the meta, but usually they put a little bit of effort into DLC characters to make you want to buy them. So, there's a good chance that Bridget will be good.
I mean, the finals did come down to Happy Chaos versus May, so there's still that. And then the top 8, you had a lot of Zato 1, you had... Didn't see any Gold Lewis. I saw an Eno in there. So, it all comes down to whatever that meta is. Same with fucking Tekken, where half that shit was just a bunch of geese and Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
And, God, so stupid. I'm just highlighting a lot of the matches that came up because, I think this was the first Evo that I actually sat down to watch, and it was really cool to see what games are actually popping off. All things said and done,
it was fun. I mean, I would say the best finals, in my opinion, was Street Fighter. Street Fighter was super, super fun. Tekken was also really good. Not to undermine the legitimacy of Guilty Gear here, but I would say of the three big finals, it was definitely the weakest for me. It was still fun, but it was like Tekken was just really. I like to watch Tekken no matter what. Tekken is just fun to watch. Period.
Tekken is always fun to watch. Oh my god.
Street Fighter was just incredible though. Some of the best Street Fighter V I've ever seen, and it was just a really good way to kind of lead that game out, because there's a good chance that it's not going to be at on the Evo main stage again after this. There's a small chance if Street Fighter 6 comes out later next year, but that could have been the last Street Fighter V Grand Finals on the main stage of Evo, and it was phenomenal. So it was a great way to send that game out.
I think that probably is the case, yeah, and especially in a way that it came out where, I'm trying to remember, it was Kawano and Item, I believe. You had a lot of Japan representation for Street Fighter V, and really just Daigo still came out into top 8. Mm-hmm. I think barely any practice, just showed up for the hell of it, managed to place still, and to have Item, who I think the biggest thing about his inclusion is the fact that this was somebody who purely trained online. No tournaments, little to no tournaments, little to no physical training with somebody else, just doing online matches and learning the tech that way, which for a game that is, I think, is still on delay-based netcode as well, that's what a lot of people see as just a non-optimal way to actually learn the game. Mm-hmm. But you do well enough that you get to second place. I think actually set up a reset as well. So won the rounds to get out of loser's bracket, because, realizing it now, some people maybe never have watched Evo. The way that their brackets usually turn out, because the way that Evo likes to work is you have pools. Basically, anyone can come, show up, put themselves into an entry to eventually get to the top ranks. It starts at a top 48 and eventually whittles down into your top 8. And from there, you have your finals, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the big grand final. That's separated between your winner's bracket and your loser's bracket. So if you're still riding high, hey, cool, one loss isn't going to go against you. If you're on the loser side, it is do or die every single match. And if your grand final between winners and losers, if you on the losing side win, that doesn't mean, oh, cool, I've done it. It just means, all right, now do it again. Because you've essentially brought the other person down with you, gave them their first loss, so now it's a matter of having to, go through the reset of those losses and see who comes out on top. Marvel 3 had a really stupid reset. I say stupid because of the fact that the two teams were one that was so to the books of what a good tier list based team can be in terms of like Doctor Doom, fucking Virgil and Zero, characters that can control the screen and make it so that you do not have a turn at the game, against the team of Hagar, who, not awful, definitely get some playtime from what I remember, Ghost Rider, who I forgot was in the game, and Arthur, who I know was in the game, but I've never seen any legitimate gameplay of. So it was truly a case of, do I go with the meta or do I go with my favorite characters? And, I really do wish Magic Pixel Mexican won all that.
Close.
It was close. But
at the very least, like, making it all the way up there is still very impressive for that team.
Yeah, and that's like the part of it I really do appreciate as well for, as a wrestling fan, I definitely look at the narrative aspect of any sort of like competition. Mm-hmm. That lends itself, especially when I start to see like some sports stories and the way that like, wow, even in the middle of a game, you can have a narrative drawn out just based on what's going on. And it doubly is the case for fighting games and the FGC in general. The case for esports most likely as well. But with the FGC, you have so much of this focus on the fact that this was the first EVO since the pandemic. The last EVO was 2019. Pandemic hit. No in-person events were being held. And by the time that EVO 2022 rolls around, the company is bought by Sony, and you can definitely see it in the production. You can definitely see it in the way that it's starting to really just hold itself in terms of what the FGC is. Legitimacy is such a big part of the fighting game community because of the fact that, like, for as many people that'll talk about, like, the strength and the camaraderie that the FGC can bring, it's also one where, you still primarily see a attendance of male players and participants than you do just like other aspects of the gender spectrum. That's slowly breaking away finally. You saw it with Sonic Fox in the way that they just really brought their game with fighters, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat. You saw it with Umisho taking the grand finals for Strive as well, being able to just say, hey, this legitimately is not just for one set of people. Mm-hmm. And then it's also the fact that, like, fighting games have some fucking horror stories. There's a reason people joke about fucking bathroom melty blood tourneys. That's not just something that they make up. I'm pretty sure if you talk to the right person from the FGC, they can remember a time, or no, I'm thinking about the goddamn time that somebody got stabbed over a game of King of Fighters. In the attempts to, as Capcom put it, reduce thuggery within the scene. It's real shit. Fighting games is real shit. And this is at least a reminder that, they're out here, they're doing their best, and it's only going to be a growing case. It's no longer a matter of trying to prove legitimacy or what exactly does it mean to, like, be a professional fighting game person. Or like, I think for a while the idea of the fighting game community was that it was always on the fringe, it was always a dying scene, it was always destined to fail. I don't think that's the case anymore. It's really apparent that fighting games are going to stay alive. Part of it is companies finally listening to the people that buy their games and going, all right, we're going to do the things that make it easier for you to still practice these games and work with them. And then also just the fact that now more than ever, it's easier to have someone go, oh, this looks cool, I kind of want to learn. And be able to say, all right, get the game, find the money to buy the game. Sure, there's still that barrier of just actually purchasing the one that you want, but people are very willing to say, all right, don't pay attention to the tier lists, don't pay attention to the meta. If you're starting brand new and don't even know what frame rate is, pick a game that you like, pick a game that you think is cool, pick a character that you would want to do moves with or that you think looks cool. Because at the end of the day, when you are getting your ass beat and you're sitting there thinking, man, do I still want to do this? It's a genuine interest in actually participating. It's the love of the game. And it's very good that there are so many options for people. So here's to next year's Evo. It can only go up from here.
Absolutely. Yeah, this year's Evo was really fun to watch, and I there's always that post-Evo spike where people watch Evo and they go, oh, I could do that, and then they try it and they can't. But
I fucking bought Tekken 7 again.
That's the thing, is that you're not gonna do it immediately. It takes practice, it takes work, and so if I hope that more people put in that practice and put in that work for a fighting game that they love. And yeah, like you said, it should be something that you enjoy, because you're probably not going to make it to Evo main stage, but you can learn, you can get good at a fighting game, and you can play with your friends online. Enough of these games are getting rollback that it's pretty reasonable to just play it online now, or go try to find your locals and, make some friends. Go play some fighting games in real life.
It's there also the thing where, you learn and glean a little bit more about fighting games. For whatever reason, fighting games are like the Rosetta Stone of a lot of game design and also just, backdoor history. Smash, decide what you want to call it. Nintendo will definitely not call it a fighting game because they do not want to present it that way. But it is created by a guy who loves fighting games.
Absolutely.
Hell, you can even see it in Kirby Superstar, where if you just know the input for a Hadoken, you can do that with Fighter Kirby. There's so much DNA from the scene and from the genre that ekes out into a lot of other areas. It's what gets people, interested in character action games and being able to do combos in a way that is not necessarily easier, but less focused on direct, perfect inputs in a setup that may be foreign to them. It's the way that, how many fighting game fans are now fans of rap, house, other genres that they probably would have never gotten into if not for these eclectic OSTs that get associated. There is so much of a mesh that comes together when it comes to just learning more about fighting games. Even if you never play them, just seeking them out, watching it fucking rules. I remember a few years back when Terry was coming out. I was working at a middle school, and there's this 12-year-old who was like, oh, check it out, I got Terry on my Switch. And I'm like, how do you know about Terry Bogard? I don't even think you were alive for the last actual King of Fighters or Fatal Fury game released outside of 14. And, just turns out oh, my dad really likes these games. And yeah, it's you go to any for a lot of folks, they grew up on fighting games. They grew up at the arcade, just being able to get a round of KOF, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter in, and they might fall off of it later on. But you get those references in, and it's you just see that light shine of just oh, now we're talking that real shit.
Absolutely.
Fighting games are cool.
Fighting games are fucking cool. I will always love fighting games. They are good. Hell yes. Hell yes.
And let's get that 50,000 multiverses pot next year.
Oh my god.
No, wait, it was 100,000, 50, like, oh god, they put so much fucking money in that game.
People are making so much, like I saw like people got like 30th and were still walking away with like $1,000.
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
Listen, I'll learn like how to play goddamn Tom and Jerry if it means I could maybe walk away with $1 million by the time next year comes around. Who knows what'll happen to it depending on this merger, but I mean they say that they're unaffected, so
oh my god. I mean, at the very least, you could probably just like enter the tournament and like cover your Evo expenses for the weekend. Just you know,
the one way that you break even in Vegas, you join the multiverses pool at Evo.
Exactly. Like I didn't even show up, and I still got like $300. All right.
Yeah, next year they're going to release Nathan Fielder for season 2.
Oh, thank God. I mean, they did like confirm that the first season is starting in like a week. They're adding Morty from Rick and Morty.
Separate from Rick of Rick and Morty.
Which there was some leaked footage of Rick that actually made me kind of interested in playing as him, because he has like portals that you can shoot projectiles through, which is really cool. So I kind of want to try that out.
So-called free thinker when a portal shows up.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't care for this Rick and Morty, and then I saw a portal, and I turned into like Captain Knuckles with the zoom in, like, whoa, like
you did the little butt lip thing that's in the fucking show.
Yeah, I did that. I absolutely did that. All right, let's see what else is going on here. What other news? Let's do one more little bit of news here. We have an update from Hollywood, folks. We have the stars are out, and boy oh boy do we have some updates there. So first off, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has a release date. The movie, not the game. We're not talking about Sonic 3 and Knuckles. We're talking about Sonic 3 movie. It is December 20th, 2024, which, if you are not fully aware here, is also the release date, or supposedly the release date, of the third Avatar movie. Which, I don't believe... I still don't believe that there's supposed to be an Avatar movie coming out this year. That sounds like bullshit. I'm not going to believe that until it is out. But the third one is also supposed to be releasing on that day. There are plenty of jokes to be had, like saying like, oh, Sonic is going to eat that one up too, because Sonic did annihilate the other films that it was that like for Sonic 1, I think it was like what, like Birds of Prey, I think, and Cats, because that was like right when the pandemic hit. And then
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then Sonic 2, I don't remember what it was up against, but yeah, it definitely like cleared that as well. So people are like, oh man, James Cameron's next. But I guess we'll find out how it shakes up. In all honesty, those are probably very different audiences, so it's probably not going to be too big of a deal, And I'm sure that if people who just want to see movies, they'll probably see Avatar and Sonic. Like this. Like I watched the first Sonic movie pretty recently. It is okay. It was just like a solid 3 out of 5. It was fine. It was inoffensive. It was just all right. That's my feelings on that movie. So, it's a good kids movie. I'm sure that they'll go see that, and then like adults and teens might go see Avatar. Like again, it's a different audience. So, who knows? We'll see. But hey, we do have. Oh yes.
I can at least be assured that kids like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a kid out there right now who is enamored with the world of Na'vi and Jake Sully.
I mean, I still can't really fathom anyone being super stoked about Avatar in 2022.
Oh, I know that they exist. I've seen How To with John Wilson.
Okay. That is true.
Yeah, there's at least one group of people that are interested.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to fathom, but also that movie blew up like crazy and then kind of just vanished. So maybe that'll just happen again. Maybe as soon as it drops, everyone's gonna have Avatar fever, and then like a month later, everyone's gonna be like, "What? That came out?" Like, who knows? It'll make $3 trillion, and then the next day, everyone will forget they watched it. I don't know. I saw that in theaters. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't remember it. I remember a good amount of what happens in that movie, but it's also just kind of there. It's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. It's this like, like native story thing. It's it's
white man coming by.
Yeah,
it learns how to commune with the indigenous people of a planet.
Nature.
Nuts with his hair.
Yeah.
I like that the idea, not necessarily. Oh god, I can't just help but imagine that there's a version of like Na'vi Jake with just like full on dreads.
Yeah.
And that like if we're going for this progenitor to the entire Rachel Dolezal situation, like, ooh-wee. I do stand by James Cameron being very vocal recently about, like, it's a fucking movie. Just go to the bathroom if you gotta go. Come on. Like, I appreciate that he's like, I love the thing. I'm sniffing my own farts about this. But also, just go to the bathroom. You're not missing anything. Like there's a level of being fed up with the industry that you work in that, I don't know, I appreciate that much at least.
Yeah.
And we still do not know anything about the Mario movie.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think Miyamoto does.
Rest assured, they're doing so much that they're out there in the lab getting Chris Pratt's voice so perfect for the Mario movie.
He's gonna sound exactly right. We're all gonna hear it, and we're gonna be like, "This Charles Martinet guy, what the fuck? Get out of here!"
Hello, Mario.
Yeah, hello, Mario. All right, so yeah, I mean, we've got Mario, we've got Sonic, we've got a bunch of other video game characters in movies, but what of Pac-Man? Where has Pac-Man been this whole time? Well, he's getting what we all believe he deserves. His own goddamn movie. As apparently Wayfarer Studios is producing some form of live-action Pac-Man movie. This is being based on an idea from Chuck Williams, who I guess was also the ideas guy behind the Sonic movie. And a bunch of other people. So yeah, it's going to be Wayfarer, Lightbeam, and Bandai Namco themselves. No plot, no script, no director announced, anything. This is just the idea is here. We are getting some form of Pac-Man movie, potentially, someday. Which is a concept that is crazy to me.
I believe the last time that Pac-Man was in a film format was the 2015 film Pixels.
That is true.
Now, I forget, was it Pac-Man that sucked somebody in that movie, or was it Q*bert?
I mean, Q*bert's in that movie. I haven't seen that movie. I don't know.
I feel like there is something that people figured out where it's like, oh shit, did somebody get like sloppy from a
It's probably Cubert, because Pac-Man is like a giant thing in that movie, and Cubert's just like a little guy.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to type it. Pixels. Blowjob
BJ.
No, I don't need 25 plus best blowjob jokes memes. Might have been Josh Gad's character.
What if he sucked Cubert?
He could have. It's the most anyone's looked up anything about this fucking movie.
Yeah, Google's just like, what? You remember this shit? What the hell? Hello?
Oh. Cubert transforms its likeness to a character. A year later, they marry and have Cubert-like children. So somebody fucks Cubert. Ludlow. Who is that character? Josh Gad. Josh Gad fucks Cubert, and they have kids.
All right. So, who? I guess we gotta ask then. Who's gonna be Ms. Pac-Man in this movie? Who's gonna fuck Pac-Man?
If it's live action, make it Dua Lipa.
It is apparently supposed to be live action, so okay. Hollywood.
Good old Tinseltown.
Maverick, what have you been playing lately?
Well, stepping away from the City of Stars Hollywood, I was back in Hong Kong for a little bit. I finished Sleeping Dogs.
All right. How you feeling about that? Because this is your first time playing it, correct?
Yep, first time playing it through. Never touched it before. I really had a good time. It's a simple, the premise is so simple. Fucking, Wei Shen, you're too attached to this case. Can you make sure that you can stand by your morals as a cop? Or are you going to turn to the triads? And no, the answer is simply, I will thread the needle and do my best to care for the community I've become a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's not a mind-breaking take. I think most, loose cannon cop narratives ultimately stand on that idea of which in a way somehow feels more nuanced the later we go in terms of seeing the way the police forces turn into hideous weapons of the state. But, it's neat. I had fun with it. It definitely... the shooting felt a little weird at times.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that its shooting mechanics are maybe not the strongest, but it never felt like... it never felt like it was just outright unfair. I mean, shit, I think about a game like Watch Dogs 2, and I, never fired a gun in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to think that they kind of intended you... Or, sure, they gave you the option, but it's weird to think anyone would, go for it, given the way that the game was laid out. With Sleeping Dogs, it's at least okay, go through these specific sections that we put you in, but otherwise, it's going to be melee for the most part. Have a blast. Have fun. And, yeah, really enjoyable. I think it still is one of my favorites of that open world genre. Now, just having gone through it, I get why people really dig it. Maybe at some point I'll try out the DLC, but for now, I'm just letting it go as hey, had a really good time. Wei Shen is a pretty cool dude, all things considered.
Did you get into any of the DLC stuff, or you leaving that for another time?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that for another time. I'm glad that I do just have access to it all.
Okay.
But it might be a thing where I'll get into it maybe just download it again once I get through a few things that are coming up pretty soon.
Sure. Sounds all right. Anything else you want to talk about in your gaming circle here?
Well, I mean, to just bring it up a little bit, Rumbleverse did come out this Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott and I actually got a chance to stream that. Should be available in our VODs over at twitch.tv/VGCC.
Should be up this. We should maybe get it up on YouTube or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll make sure. You know, worst comes to worst, we'll figure something out. But yeah, oh my god, Rumbleverse is a really fun game. I really am enjoying my time with it. It's made the idea of habitually getting to a battle royale feasible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as someone that is not the best with like first person shooters, it's hard to really get into Fortnite. It's hard to get into Apex. It's hard to get into any of these. Because ultimately it's like my strategy is that I have to just hide for a bit and maybe I'll get a chance to fuck somebody up unless they like no scope me or whatever. But with Rumbleverses, it's at least more even of a playing ground in terms of, you know, focusing on timing, focusing on just solely melee attacks and the occasional thrown item. But there's much more for me to actually master and sink my teeth into. And being able to play it in a duo setting with Scott was really, really a fun way to just open up some of the strategy that is involved in Rumbleverse. There's two of them. It's gonna be a fight now with both of these. But Rumbleverse, you know, adding in that 2-person system, it changes up some components where normally you have access to a super mode. That's a meter that you fill up with like collectibles around the map itself, or by just fighting with opponents, taking hits, delivering hits, and eventually you can proc that super mode. Gives you access to a bit of a health regen. You can do a super move with it that like you can set up. It sets you up as like a high in the sky grapple that just slams down. And if you're good enough with it, you can find ways to actually bounce off of like cars and stuff to increase the height and also increase the damage. The other mechanic to it normally is that it acts as a second life. So if you get knocked out and you have your super, you can use that to regain a bit of health and figure out a strategy from there. In duos, you don't have that access until you're the last person in your duo. So if you have your super mode, you're going to be using it a lot just to make sure you can actually deal out damage. And if you do get knocked out, then your teammate does have the ability to revive you, and you can just go figure out plans of attacks from there. We got our asses handled a lot, but we did score a few solid victories, and there's some rounds that I was really proud of, and I'm glad that I could feel that. As someone that has never won a game of Fortnite, never had a chicken dinner, never won a Fall Guys crown, this one's for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you better watch out. Everybody out there in the Rumbleverse, you better watch out. Because me and Scott, we're going to be back in there. The Blowjob Brothers are going to blow you out.
Cut that promo, King. I'm glad y'all are having fun with it.
It's a great time.
I think I'm almost done with Xenoblade Future Connected, folks. I think I'm almost done.
Oh boy.
It's one of those things where, you know, you're playing something more recent that is tied to something from the past. And you really just start to realize, oh, Monolith Soft really got better at writing since they made Xenoblade 1. It's just, it makes me appreciate a whole lot how much better the little moments are in that expansion. just having the characters talk to each other and it feeling important instead of it just being, oh hey, Ryan's gonna say some useless bullshit, or Charlotte's just gonna be sad about her boyfriend again, and it's not really gonna matter to the grand scheme of things because it's just, it's just kind of there.
Here's my arc. I have my character arc. Okay, cool. Next part.
Exactly. Like it feels way more natural here. And again, it's making me more excited for 3 because that was the last thing they did before 3. So, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more. I'm fucking amped.
You're almost there.
Good. I am almost there.
You got. I am hoping. I feel like you have a chance to play 3 before we have to go through Game of the Year stuff.
I mean, I'm playing it next. I'm just gonna go for it. So we will see. But I'm also gonna take my time. I'm not gonna rush or anything. I just want to play what I want to play when I can.
Oh yeah, that's I should take time today to get through Xeno 1.
Do whatever you feel.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where I know that I should, but then it's also knowing, well, I also want to get through Xenoblade 2. And a year or two ago, I would have been, oh, fuck that. I'll just go play Xenoblade 3 when it's out. However, thanks to these conversations with you and Rose and because nobody ever, again, we talk about this anytime.
We fucked you up.
You've convinced me that a good game is good. And you've also made me appreciate, sometimes an artist is horny. And as someone that has also seen the rise of Uchikoshi in mainstream conversation, it's now more than ever. We just have to realize there's an ability for someone to have thought and a lot of nuance to the way that they do their writing. It may not always land. It may not be perfect. Writing is never perfect, but you can always see the conviction that's associated with it, and especially so when they're willing to actually step out of just the space of a writer and be like, hey, I'm not just writing about one, I'm writing about queer spaces, to take that AI Somnium Files example. One, I'm writing about queer spaces. It's not my translators trying to put things in. Two, I'm doing this because I know people who are queer and they're meaningful and important to me. So shut up about trying to be a dickhead about this. And that same person can also be someone that just makes a receptionist with the fattest tits ever. Who makes a main character that is constantly just thinking about porno. Literally gets his life saved because it's like, Date, look out, there's a porno mag. Where?
A porno mag? Where? I mean, classics of scene. Like, classics of scene.
That I also gotta play more, because Date just like me for real.
Yeah, I have AI 2 also on the docket, but I think I'll do that after Xenoblade.
Yeah. But no, like at some point I know that and I'm gonna enjoy it all. It's just like, man, there's stuff coming out. We didn't put it in the news proper, but that Crayon Shin-chan Boku no Natsu Yasumi game.
Fuck yeah, that dropped.
That dropped. It's also getting like a stateside drop, and it's also coming to PC.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, that in itself is its own thing. Between that and the Ultra Kaiju Rancher game coming out later this year, like, I'm hoping that they make money. I think Crayon, like the Shin-chan and the Professor, the Endless, or was it the Endless 7-Day Vacation? Something like that. New Shin-chan game. I think it's actually making front page of like the Switch store page. which is buck wild.
Mm-hmm.
But developers, do not keep your niche games region locked in an age of digital distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I beg you. Like you literally just have to let me buy it online.
Mm-hmm.
What are you losing if you do that? No, like legitimately, what do you lose? I don't think there's actually any like cost.
Yeah, who fucking knows?
Like, well, hire translators, of course. Hire a dedicated translation team to do all this. That'll be the money that you put in. But other than that, you can literally just you aren't having to worry about CDs. You aren't having to worry about any actual physical component to it outside of what you already made. And people that are already dedicated will still have access to that. Now, this is not saying go fully digital. No, never. Like, always find a way to have an analog or physical version of what you're able to have. But this is at least the easiest way to do that and still just get something out of it. It makes no sense to just immediately look at like a niche game and just say, oh, nah, we'll never make something like that. Like, people still think fondly of Attack of the Friday Monsters because of the fact that just actually got a release on the US 3DS page, and enough people went, yo, check this out. This is really good. Which I would still love to check out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I gotta get one of those fancy 3DSs.
3DS is good. It's a good idea to go out there and get a 3DS. And did you know it's quite easy to hack your 3DS?
Were you doing like the Brazilian laughing?
I'm not on purpose. I was just kind of doing a
All right.
I mean, it is very easy to hack your 3DS, but also it is a meme to be like, oh, hey everybody, it's easy to hack your 3DS. I'm going to tell you all the time.
Oh, what is that? Our new Final Fantasy 14 free trial?
Kinda, yeah. Except I'm not saying this is a dig to Final Fantasy 14, but I would be
go on.
I would be more ready to tell someone to hack their 3DS than to play Final Fantasy 14, because there's a bunch of games on the 3DS that you can play. It's not just one game that is an MMO that is extremely time-consuming and frustrating at times. You can play a lot of stuff on the 3DS.
That's fair.
Alright, well, let's get the rest of this news going. Let's wrap this stuff up. Alright, I guess we could talk about the dumb bullshit going on here.
Let's go!
Alright, so Unity has signed a contract with the US government for some form of Department of Defense stuff. They are going to be the preferred real-time 3D platform for systems design and simulation programs. Just I guess across the government, not just for the Department of Defense, but just in general. But yeah, this is it wasn't too long ago that a bunch of Unity employees were speaking out against these sorts of things, especially with regards to working with the military. A lot of folks at Unity signed up to make video games, and they don't really get a say in this, and now the technology that they helped make is being used for war, and that is frustrating is a very, very light way of putting it. I would say it's nightmarish. In fact, I would say. I mean,
now
I think I don't really have too much else to say other than blows ass. But I feel for all the employees that are having their work used in such a heinous way.
No, definitely. I think my question is Unity the only studio with a contract like this? Because I feel like I've heard...
I think Unreal also does as well, but they're saying that Unity is going to be preferred here, so I don't know how that changes things.
Right. No, it sucks. It's like there's not much else to touch on aside from the fact that this just blows. Going back to the investigative journalism about the fact that, hey, low key, Call of Duty has been a way to like recruit people for like doing specific missions out here in the armed forces. Not, aside from just the general like pro-military propaganda, and not again like fucking nuance all around. It's not that the game itself is inherently evil, more so that it presents a platform that is very easy to piggyback off of. Like, I'm not gonna judge you if you loved playing zombies like 10 years ago, or if you still do that now. It's having the wherewithal to say, no, there is a genuine link that was created at the end of the day that was also taken advantage of. And here it's another case as well, which is really unfortunate because Unity, while it has its issues, I would say, as software, not from personal experience, more so seeing it in the use of other people, it's also just the most accessible. Like in that in between time of Flash starting to die out, I saw a lot of Unity-based browser gaming come up. And that was interesting to see. It's sort of like, oh, I guess there is an equivalent to an extent that people have access to. And it's a shame that it's being used in this kind of a way.
Yeah, it's just another bummer of the continued encroachment of the American military and just shittiness all around in society.
Just on the record, no, you do not have to hand it to the FBI based on this week's events.
Even if it's funny.
It is funny. No one is disputing that it's funny. Let's get that clear. It is fucking hilarious.
It's very funny
that they found fucking nuclear codes out of as like the same way that you would like steal a pen from your workplace. Mar-a-Lago just ridden with specific government secrets. It's hilarious. That doesn't mean that like this is not a like a jumping off point to like do discourse with people that would actively view me and a majority of the people associated with the Chooch as the reason why America is a dying country. Well, remember when this podcast was about video games?
No.
Damn, me neither.
There was a Splatoon 3 Direct this past week.
Damn right there was.
I didn't watch it. I don't really know what they announced. I
can take the lead on this one then.
Yeah. Go right ahead, please.
So Splatoon 3 is coming out next month, and yeah, September 10th. Better be. Otherwise, I'm just saying shit out my ass. But it's coming soon, and they did a little direct just to clear up some of the stuff that's coming up, and a lot of the same. Yeah, okay, September 9th. Good. I do not want to spread misinformation. Just showed out the new locale of the Splatlands. I believe that the last Splatfest for 2 was literally Chaos versus Order.
Yeah.
And so, to an extent, that might have, like... I think people are thinking, oh, because of that, that's kind of informing some of the decisions going forward into 3. You have some new stages.
They did that with 1 as well, because if I remember correctly, I think it was like Callie versus Marie or whatever, and Marie won, I'm pretty sure, and so then Callie was like drafted to the villains in 2, and you had to rescue her. It's just they take that stuff into consideration, and I like that. That's funny. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's the good way that Splatoon manages to really make a community effort in a way that is difficult, I would say, in a Nintendo-based like online game, or as difficult as it can be outside of just like queuing people up for Mario Kart. But we got a few new stages, and more, like as always, stages that get added with future updates. We've got some new weapons in the form of the bow, the stringers that people have been checking out. Also unveiled the Splatano wiper.
All right.
So you can finally use the blade in the Squid Kid game.
So it's gonna be like fucking Zero.
You're doing Judgment Cuts.
Here. Or Judgment Cuts. Okay.
Yeah, more or less, you're doing Judgment Cuts.
Okay.
Yep. And they just like travel a distance before they hit the ground and like do stuff, but you can also get up front. And then a bunch of new special weapons, other like opportunities to get stuff in. Different sort of like currency mechanic for getting weapons, but if you have your favorites, you can actually, I believe that there's like a preferred system that you can actually just like unlock your favorite weapons and start leveling them up that way.
Okay.
And then, just like trading in 3 different, like if you trade in 3 of like the Sheldon license or whatever that they're bringing in, even if it's above your level, you could still get it because you want it. New characters for the shops and stuff. There's like a buffalo crayfish, which is pretty cool. And they had different effects. And they added a card game.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you can dab as a Squid Kid.
Oh, okay.
But they added a new card game, which is sort of like a miniature version of just a regular turf war, but through like blocks. Like imagine that you were just like filling up like Tetraminos to try and cover a majority of the board.
Okay.
And each card has its own like set amount of like table turf battle is what they call it. So you have your set amount of like squares that you cover with one card. You can place it in a specific part of like the setup. There are over 150 cards to collect, and the art looks pretty cute too.
They'll probably keep adding more as they go. That's what I'm guessing.
They could. They definitely could. Salmon Run's back.
Okay.
So for folks that were really into Salmon Run in 2, I did not pick up 2, so that's completely new to me. But they're really going in on this edition. You can there's still a drawing mechanic through the mailbox feature. So for everyone that was like a pocket artist in Splatoon 2, that's still showing up.
Nice.
Yep. There's an actual photo mode, an opportunity to really like maneuver through the arenas without any like just maneuvering through the arenas without any enemies. Not necessarily a practice mode, but it lets you actually get a handle for what the stage looks like. So if there are any shortcuts that you might have not known about, that's at least a way to start to get that muscle memory in before fully getting into matches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're pushing the Nintendo app again, which, they're definitely trying it.
They're trying something, all right.
Yeah. League Battle, X Battle, so their competitive stuff still going on. Hope to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the new group. Let me remember what they're freaking called. Deep Cut, featuring a Octoling Shiver, who I believe, very intentionally, is a non-binary character, gender non-conforming. I think there's a tweet that went out that, like, in almost every sort of press release, including, like, for most languages, the way that the language is presented, no pronouns are necessarily used, even in just, like, the general case. So, Shiver. We got Fry with a big ol' 5 head, but it's endearing. And then we got the fucking standout Big Man.
Big Man.
Who's a manta ray.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Nah, I fucking love Big Man already. But with the introduction of this, then that also means, like, hey, outside of regular turf battles, you also have 3-way turf battles. So, partially as a way to, I would say, like, account for the way that percentages can be varied to the wire on 1 versus 1. This adds enough inconsistency and general chaos to really make things different. And from the looks of it, the leading team is the one that gets, like, additional people.
Okay.
But then as you get more, you might be drafted into other parts. I might be misconstruing that a bit, but yeah, it's just, like, a really different way to, like, shake up the game mechanics. So, good on them.
Good new stuff for Splatoon. Very cool.
I'm really glad Splatoon's doing well.
Yeah. It's neat. It's good to see.
It's the new fucking IP that's not ran by, like, Miyamoto. So it actually has room to breathe. Now, if only ARMS could have gotten the same treatment.
Yeah. All right, last bit. Oh, no, 2 more bits of news here. First off, a smaller thing. We reported last week that TwitchCon was, kind of running like shit with regards to their COVID policy. Well, they have already revoked it. They're already saying that masks will be required, as well as either a proof of vaccination, or a negative test. Hey, there you go. That's much better. A lot of people
works.
saying, yeah, bullying does work. I will say that it did seem like a lot of the folks at Twitch were basically just, like, saying through gritted teeth, please send in complaints to our official channels so we can send it to someone who can change things, that kind of thing. It was just like,
right.
A lot of people didn't want this to happen. This was just, some bullshit policies because, the fucking CDC is saying that, like, kids who have been exposed to the virus don't have to wear a mask and can stay in class. That kind of shit. So
They've
I'm
really
at least glad.
just said fuck it.
They really just said fuck it. So I'm at least glad that TwitchCon is not doing that. But yeah, there you go. Kind of the same story as Anime Expo. Bullying works. Pass it on.
Bullying works. Wear a mask.
Yeah, bullying works. Wear a mask. And finally, there was a THQ Nordic digital showcase. They had their own little THQ Nordic Direct here. And I'm just going to kind of run through all the stuff that they announced. First off, we have a remake of Alone in the Dark. It's a I don't know how much of a remake it is. I guess they said it's going to be like a reimagining of sorts of it. I don't know, but it's a new Alone in the Dark game of some sort. It is being written by the writer of Amnesia and Soma. if you are inclined to be excited for that. I don't really know how people feel about the writing of those games, but sure. Yeah, new Alone in the Dark. Tempest Rising, which is an RTS with some RPG elements. It seems pretty alright, you know. I enjoy an RTS from time to time. Recreation, which is a new arcade racing game from folks who worked on Need for Speed and Burnout. It lets you make a track in a big old sandbox and then race around it with your friends. It's pretty cool. It sounds neat. There's Space for Sale, which is you play as a space property developer, where you you develop a planet and turn it from a barren planet, a non-livable one, to one that is more suited for someone to live there.
They made the fucking crewmate.
Yeah, they are just like a crewmate.
They made the fucking crewmate, and it's hard to say that it's not.
Yeah. That is the Among Us.
God, earlier, I was in a stream, or I was watching a stream, I think the other day. Someone was playing Spider-Man Remastered, and, there's a sequence in the beginning where Spider-Man is, like, trying to take down Fisk, and he's, like, crawling through the vents. In the Twitch chat, I see someone, like, jokingly go, "Vent!" But it just hits me like, oh, this was a pre-Among Us game.
This is before, in the before times.
The first time that I, like, saw this game, I would not have thought about just the words that have been ruined and no longer have any, like, meaning anymore. Like vent, suspicious, task.
Oy. Let's see here. We got the new Jagged Alliance game, Jagged Alliance 3. Top-down strategy game. Going around shooting motherfuckers. There's a Gothic remake, which is an action RPG from the 2000s. Now remade. Another remake is Destroy All Humans 2. Reprobed. I think that got announced previously, but they're remaking that as well. Outcast 2. I don't really know anything about Outcast 1, but there's 2 of that. Same with Knights of Honor 2. I've never heard of Knights of Honor. Sure, but we got another one. The Valiant, which is a grand strategy game. The Crusades game. Way of the Hunter, which is a hunting sim that they're making. And SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake, which is a new 3D platformer that seems to be in the same vein as your Battle for Bikini Bottoms. You're playing as a bunch of the different characters. They have a bunch of different abilities. You're going through different timelines, I suppose. Like there's one part where you're in like the cave sponge era. There's like a future area, that sort of thing. That looks pretty fun. And then at the end of it, again, I didn't really watch this, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But at the end of it, I guess they tease that they are also going to be making some form of South Park game. Yay!
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, I can't wait. Is there anything here that you're excited about?
I mean, SpongeBob game seems neat.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they're... I don't even know if I could say I'm glad. It's neat that they're doing something new.
Yeah. I'm not too excited about any of this.
Listen, one of us had to say it.
Yeah.
Like, I never played Destroy All Humans 2 before. I remember going through 1 as a kid. But...
yeah.
I am walking and not running to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that about does it. We do have one question, but it's a pretty quick one. If you want to send in a question, go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask, and you'll sound like this right here. Shoeless asks, time to take a stand in Splatoon 3's first Splatfest. Rock, paper, or scissors? All right, Maverick, I think we have to try to say it at the same time so we can see who wins, basically, here, all right?
All right.
Okay. Well then, okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, rock!
Right, paper. No, what the fuck am I talking about? Scissors.
I usually go rock.
In the meta of it, yes, I went paper, but no, big man says scissors, I'm going scissors.
Okay.
Like, truth be told, here's the thing. Like, Splatoon 1, it was never a question of what do I actually go with, it was what's the Marie choice. Splatoon 2, what was the Marina choice? And here in Splatoon 3, truth be told, it's gonna be the big man choice.
I respect it. I
know what I'm about.
No, yeah, I respect it. But yeah, I usually just go with rock, so that's my answer.
No, that's fair. Rock is a good start.
All right, well, there you go, folks. That will do it for this week's show. Maverick, thank you so much for being on. Where can people find you?
People can go ahead and find me at Mavsplaniamania on Twitter. That's at MAVSPLANIAMANIA, where, I'm just tweeting, hanging out. Start a new job soon, so...
Nice!
Yeah. I've been not, antsy about it, but, I'm gonna see how that goes. It's gonna be a work-from-home situation, too. So, that gives me more time to do things for the site, which you might be seeing a review from me pretty soon.
Nice.
I got a chance to just work out with the new game Frogun that released recently, and I definitely get into a position about that game.
Right. All right. And you can find me at JOHN_MICHONSKI. That's my Twitter. And as for the rest of the site, you can go to videogamechoochoo.com for all of our stuff. We're going to have some reviews going up. Yeah, Maverick's got one. Franny's got one. We've got stuff coming up. So don't you worry about that. You can follow us on Twitter at VGChoochoo. You can follow us on Tumblr, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/videogamechoochoo. youtube.com/videogamechoochoo, where we're going to try to post some stuff on there soon. We do post those YouTube shorts. We've been doing that recently. That's been going pretty well, I feel. We have our twitch.tv/VGChoochoo, where, we're trying to stream more. I think Scott's doing some stuff pretty regularly, so you can check that out. Patreon.com/VGCC if you want to support us with just $3 a month. Now, I'm just going to say real quick, we want to make the Patreon feel like something that you want to subscribe to. So, if y'all have any ideas, if y'all have anything that you want to see, please let us know. And also, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna put this out there, and I'm just gonna ask: would you be okay with patron-only stuff? Like, we keep it locked. Would that be something that would be okay with you all? If we have an overwhelming no, we'll figure it out. But if that's something that people are okay with, then that is something that's on the table, because we want to make Patreon feel worth it. And, while on a moral standpoint, it's I just want everyone to be able to have whatever the fuck. We also want people to feel like they're spending their money on something that isn't really, I don't want to say a waste, but, we want people to feel like they're spending their money well. So that's kind of the quandary right now. That's something that I would like to hear from you all about. So please let us know how you feel.
If you are ever curious about, what does the Patreon offer, or what does my dollar go towards supporting? part of it is the fact that a lot of that, the money that we use is what we ultimately use if, like, in case people need to take care of, like, review copies or get things in order to set up a review or a feature. Being able to actually keep the lights on as well when it comes to website hosting, and especially in the middle of our redevelopment, it's been helping a lot. Just making sure that we have the ability to pay wonderful people who have been a fantastic help in the process of
helping
really
us out
getting some new. Yeah, we're getting that seeing that new coat of paint. Ooh, it is.
It's coming up.
Really excited. That said, coming from someone that does subscribe to a lot of Patreons, and once I get a paycheck again, gonna be subscribing to more Patreons, it's always a case of, do I become a part of this because I like the work that's put out, and I just know that my $3 goes to support what they have to do, or, I feel like there is at least something that's offered that me being at this level of payment, I appreciate getting access to, even if I know, like, it'll only ever be through that, like, specific point of access. I think both of those worlds exist, and we're just trying to figure out what would be a good way for us to move from this point.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to talk to us about it, hey, we have our Discord server. Type that into your web browser, the gamezone.zone, type that in, and bring you straight there. And again, yeah, hey, we'll figure it out. We can figure it out together. I want to hear from you all. Throw in your ideas, and we will work with it. And we have stuff kind of in the process too, but, we're figuring it all out. But yes, thank you. And thank you to Melt Channel for a theme song, Crush, of the album Magic is Real. If you want to listen to their stuff, it's meltchannel.bandcamp.com or magic-circuit.bandcamp.com. Check their stuff out. It's good. It's good shit. Check it out. And thank you all for listening, everyone. We will be back next week with another episode of the Video Game Choo Choo Podcast. So long.